You're listening to the Open Books Podcast.
Your next chapter starts now.
Is it love, 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 love that I'm feeling? Is it love, 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 love that I'm feeling? Is she the one?
Hello, and welcome back to episode 2 of the Open Books Podcast. I'm Amber.
And I'm Colby.
Oh, and let's crack these open.
We're cracking open a little drink.
Yeah, the mom water.
And we're taking a sip. Cheers.
Cheers.
Okay. Thank y'all so
Delicious.
much for being here.
Yes.
We had so much fun on our very first episode, and we're very excited to be back here for episode 2 to talk with y'all about Never Lie by Miss Freida McFadden.
Miss Freida, baby.
Miss Freida. But before we start, I just want to tell y'all that I want you guys to, if you can, go and like, comment, subscribe, just interact with us on the podcast interfaces.
Yes.
Because I think that's how we're going to reach our audience. So all you have to do to subscribe is just hit follow or just like it. Go follow us on our Instagram and TikTok.
Yes.
And that's how we'll keep doing this.
And I will say it's been so fun talking with people that are kind of joining us in this little community.
Yes, so much fun. So just go interact with us so we know that you're here. We want to get y'all's book suggestions. We want to hear from y'all about the books that we're reading so we can talk about what y'all think along with our descriptions and how we feel about the book. So come interact with us on social media and let's get started.
Yes.
All right. First of all, Amber, I want to ask you, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you for asking. I'm thrilled for episode 2.
I know.
I'm really excited to
Same.
be doing this. School's wrapping up.
I know. I was going to
Coming
ask you,
to an
how was your
end.
week? Like, what has it been like?
It's been a lot.
Pause.
That dramatic pause. It's been a lot. We had our 8th grade graduation,
Mhm.
all things into school. And you know that being
Yeah.
a teacher,
Yeah, it's a lot.
how
at the
it
end of
is
the
when
year.
you wrap up the end of the school year. So
Yeah.
that's kind of where I'm at right now. And anyone that's in education knows that like the last final days of school,
Yeah.
you're taking your decorations down in your classroom, doing all the things.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I've been doing this last week.
Yeah, it feels like you're on fire that last week of
Oh
school.
yeah. I did do, I attended a hat party Friday
That's so fun.
and that was really
it looked
fun.
so amazing.
I did a cowboy hat and I designed it with a little like nautical theme. So I put these charms.
That's so cute.
It was like a seashell charm, a seahorse.
Yeah.
It was really cute. I
That's
plan
a
to wear
fun
that.
way to wrap up the week.
Oh,
the
it was
craziness.
so nice. It was so nice.
Love
For
that.
sure. How about you? How are you doing?
I'm fine. So I am officially in summer with my 2 children.
It's so nice.
It's so nice. But I will say, I've been a little nervous about summer with 2 kids. This is obviously my
Yeah.
first summer with 2 children. I have a almost 1-year-old and a 4-year-old. So I'm like, how am I going to keep them entertained, especially the 4-year-old? Because he's like, what's next, mom?
Right.
Mother, what are we doing?
Entertain me.
Entertain me. But I have just decided that I'm just going to stick to, if I just do one activity a day,
Mm-hmm.
that wears them out enough that we're good. Like,
Yeah.
even if it's just we wake up, we take it easy, we go to the park. Okay, we're good for the
Fun.
day. Like,
And that's things they're going to enjoy.
exactly. So I've been a little nervous about that. When I first had my second baby, I was like terrified of
Mhm.
going out in public with both of them at the same time. Like, it just felt like so hard.
I can see that, but you're so good.
Thank
You
you.
are naturally
Yes.
an incredible mother. You really are.
Oh
You
my
balance
God.
it so well. And I
Are you
see
trying to make
it.
me cry?
No, I'm telling it like it is.
Well, thank you. And it just is scary with both of them. And Matt, my husband, all the time will be like, it's okay to go to Walmart with both kids. Like,
yeah.
you can do it. So if you are a second time mom, like you have 2 kids and you struggle with that, I feel you, because I'm like, it just feels like so much to take them both out at once.
Right.
But this is my time this summer to like really just do it and get it together and just enjoy it. I want to find like little joy in like small things, like going to the
Oh.
local library.
Romanticizing your life.
Yes. In the little things.
100%.
Yes. Yes. Going to the library. I want to go to the local library.
Yes.
I want to utilize like our zoo. Even if we just do it once a week, like something like that, I think it'll be good.
Oh, yeah.
So that's my spiel. Like, I'm excited for summer, but I'm nervous, but I'm just going to go for it.
Yeah. No, I love that. So kind of piggybacking off of recapping our week,
Yes.
we're going to jump into some good news.
Love it.
So good news is something that we did in our classrooms, and a lot of
Mhm.
teachers at the school that I work do
Yeah.
good news, and it's a way to build and promote positive culture in your classroom.
Yeah.
And it's really just a nice thing to do to, share the positive things happening in our lives.
Can I just say I'm obsessed with good news segments?
It's
like
so good.
being a teacher, implementing that in my
Yes.
classroom. And if you are a teacher, you should think about this.
Yes.
Starting your day off or your morning off or whatever class period is with good
Every
news.
class period.
The kids love it. Just to say, and it's got to be rapid, like quick.
100%.
You say something good that's happening to you. The kids love to say that.
Yeah, and it's a bonding thing too.
Yeah,
So they
it
know
is.
what's happening in your life.
Yeah.
You can get a little glimpse of their life.
And you
it's-
learn something about them every single time.
Yes.
Yeah.
For
so
sure.
we're going to start doing a good news segment real quick.
Yep.
Which was our good news.
Yeah. So Colby, what's your good news this week?
Okay. Mine is going to have all the guys listening eye roll, but this is legit my good news because I feel strongly about it. It's my skincare. And let me tell you why.
Share it.
Because I have never been somebody who took care of my skin or thought about it. I don't know. It just was never something that was ingrained in me growing up. So recently, of course, TikTok taught me
Always.
you need to be taking care of your skin. So I don't do anything crazy, but I've been sticking to a regimen of whatever it is I do at night, like the moisturizer, the certain retinols, the creams, morning and night. And I feel a difference. Even my husband was
Really?
like, girl, your skin looks good.
Baby, you glowing.
I'm glowing.
What are
And
you using?
I'm using, I'm just packing on the moisturizer. Moisturizer?
Moisturizer.
The moisturizer. Morning and night, I do the cream under my eyes. And it might be placebo effect, but I'm cool with that because once you get a regimen and you stick to it, you feel better. You're like, okay, I'm doing something. It's consistency.
Makes the difference.
Yeah, even if you're not doing it.
Yeah.
Which brings me into my second part of my good news, which is this also TikTok told me that if you take this powder called L-glutamine with creatine in the morning, I don't know what either one of those are, but
I'm sure some people know.
Somebody knows.
I can't speak on it.
Somebody knows, but you put a little scoop of it in a thing of water, you just gulp it down. It's supposed to help with bloating. I don't know if it's really helping me, but I feel like it is. It might be placebo, but I've been doing both of those in skincare and I feel better. Maybe it's just because I'm sticking to something and being consistent.
Right.
Or maybe I'm seeing a difference. Either way, it feels good to stick to something.
That's what I was going to say. Once you start seeing the difference, that's your motivation to keep going with something.
Yep. So now I'm like, this is my thing. I'm going to do this. Skincare and my little powders and my water every morning.
I love that.
Just something little like that helps boost your everyday mood.
Yeah.
So that's my good news.
Definitely.
What is
yours?
yours?
Gosh, I love that. My good news is that summer break is this week.
Yeah.
Hallelujah. Let's freaking go. We are done on Wednesday. And
wait, what? I thought you were done. I thought Friday was your last day.
Baby, no.
That's terrible.
No. Teacher's last day is Wednesday. That's record. So.
Okay, but still.
But
you're so close.
We're so close. We can see the light.
Yeah.
But my other piece of good news is for my birthday, my husband Josh bought me a trip to Universal in June, and it's coming up so fast. So I'm excited about that.
June is literally,
it's
right around the corner. Next month.
My dramatic pause was me realizing that I'm leaving for that trip and are you going on a trip that same time?
Yeah, we're going to the beach around those same few days, mid-June.
We might have to adjust our episodes that week.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we're going to figure that out.
That is so fun. Just y'all two, Universal quality time.
Yes, and we're doing Volcano Bay, which I've never done before, their water park. So I'm excited about that.
But to be honest, I can't even tell you that I know anything about it because I have a sad story. I've never been to Disney World. All right.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
I thought that was going to be...
No.
I thought you were going to tell me you had a traumatic experience there.
No.
So I was like, oh my gosh.
Justice for Disney World. Never had a traumatic experience.
Wait, real shit. We should do a girls trip to Disney World.
Should we?
Or...
kids trip, take the children.
Wait, no, really though.
Yeah.
If y'all do a family trip.
Yeah. Let's all just join in.
We're going to join in.
Okay, my mom's going to be mad at me because I said I've never been. I went once, but I don't remember.
That doesn't count.
It doesn't
You were
count.
little?
Because I was little. I always say I've never been. And she's like, bitch, I took you.
I took you and I spent my money on you.
And she's like, you better remember.
Justice for mom.
Sorry, mommy. I don't remember. So,
but she has those memories with you, and I think that's why it's so sweet.
Yeah, it is. So that is something I want to do too, for sure.
Love that.
Okay. I want to ask you something important.
Okay.
Okay. Have you had an intrusive thought
Oh my gosh.
recently? And let me tell you why I want to ask you
Yes.
this. Okay. Let me just tell you about intrusive thoughts. First of all, let's just rewind
Rewind.
back to last week's episode or last couple weeks episode.
Yeah.
Room.
Yeah.
That book was an intrusive thought, and shout out to Duncan, the author of the book, because he did listen to our episode.
We stand Duncan.
Love you, Duncan, and
Love you, baby.
He quoted us when we said that book was an intrusive thought because it was. So that kind of like
It was.
inspired us to do a little intrusive thought
Yeah.
segment every episode because we've in our friendship talked and bonded over intrusive thoughts.
Definitely.
So I think anybody listening can relate to having these thoughts. So I just
They're normal.
They're normal, and I wanted to tell the people that they're normal. So let's talk about them real quick.
Let's do it.
Okay, so we've always talked about them. We joke about them because they're just super uncomfortable, right? Like sometimes they're kind of scary, but you have to kind of learn that they're normal. Most people deal with them in their everyday lives, okay? So I just want to throw this out there, though, to postpartum moms that they get especially like freaky and disturbing after you have a baby.
Okay, that kind of freaks me out because
Yeah.
I feel like mine are freaky now.
They're really scary. Yeah. So when you have a baby, like, and I think it's just all the hormones and all the craziness, but you think the worst of the worst postpartum. Not everybody, I'm sure, but they're like heightened
Yeah.
during postpartum. Now mine now are kind of back to like just like silliness. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like mine are probably in the silly phase.
Yes, but I want to shout out to all of the moms who have recently had a baby and you're in that
Yes.
foggy phase and your thoughts are scary. They're
Mhm.
normal, okay? But so basically intrusive.
Intrusive. We do this a lot.
Intrusive thoughts are unwanted random thoughts that they pop into your head, usually unprovoked, right? And then, they can sometimes be shocking. So I want to give y'all a little example. This is one that I've had
Yes.
recurring. And I have told you about this one before. But I'll be driving on the highway and I have this like urge to press the gas and the brake at the same time. I just, you get that like tingle in your body. You're just like you want to try it.
Yes.
But logically, you're like, that's not safe.
That's not
Like,
right.
Don't do that.
You can't.
You can't do that. So that's an example of intrusive thought. And I'm sure y'all are all like, yeah, I have those all the time. Like,
Yeah.
But you just like, when they pop up, you're like, change your mind. Like, stop thinking about it. So each week we're going to say, what was your intrusive thought this week? So my intrusive thought this week, I'll tell you mine real quick. What is the little razors that you shave the peach fuzz off your face?
Yeah, like
They're called
dermaplane?
Dermaplaning.
Yeah.
So I was dermaplaning. Of course, another thing that TikTok told me I must do.
You have to dermaplane.
So I moisturize my face and I'm dermaplaning my face. It's those little razors and you just you get
Yeah,
your face.
yeah,
You
yeah.
get the little peach fuzz. It's supposed to make your makeup stick better. It's like
Mhm.
exfoliating your face,
Getting the dead skin off.
getting it all off. Well, I'm exfoliating my face and I get the intrusive thought to just shave off the eyebrow. Like I just want to shave the whole thing off. Obviously, I would never do that, but I have to be like, I'm gonna put this down now because I literally want to shave my eyebrow off. Why? I don't know. It's just an intrusive thought. I just wanted to shave it off. I wanted to see what it felt like and look like.
And look like
Yeah.
it's there. These thoughts are so interesting to me because I think
Yeah.
a lot of people have them
Mhm.
and don't realize just how normal it is.
Yeah, it is. So what is yours?
So
Or what are yours?
I have a few that I do have a similar one that reoccurs.
Mhm.
And I thought I was a freak. I thought something was wrong. I was like, I don't think people think like this. And I was scared I was going to be judged for it.
Mhm.
I always have one where I don't stop at stop signs. I just keep going and I'm like, it is what it is, baby.
Like,
but I-
let's just see what happens. Let's
But-
just go through it.
Jesus, take the wheel. But I also know, obviously not safe. So I'm
Yeah.
never going to do that.
That is hilarious. I
And
never had that
then
one.
One time when we were in Disney World, I'm going to share this. We were at Disney World, Josh and I, and we were eating at one of like the quick serve restaurants.
Mhm.
And there was a dad carrying a huge, like he was clearly going to feed his family, being a precious gem of a dad.
Little precious man.
And in my brain was like, trip him. Oh my gosh.
Stick your foot out and make this man fall.
Fall with all his food. Would I do that? Never,
never.
ever.
Yeah.
But my brain does that. But my most recent, like this week, I was out watering my plants. And my
Which, by
brain
the
was,
way, I love that you like take care of your garden.
Oh my
like, good for
gosh.
you.
thank you.
Because mine looks
that's
like
a recent development.
so bad.
That's a recent development. I
Yeah.
usually like buy all these plants in the summer and then
They
I
die.
let 'em
like,
die.
Yeah.
But this summer I was committed.
yeah.
We're getting all this stuff and making our backyard fresh.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Like,
take
once
care
again,
of it
it feels
tend
good to
it.
like commit to something.
It does,
Yeah.
and that is part of my routine now. Like, go out and water the plants, or Josh will go out and water the plants. But
Yeah.
it's still part of the routine.
Yes.
But during that time, I wanted to spray myself in the face with the hose.
like, just right in the face.
Like, literally turn
Yeah.
the nozzle
yeah.
to the face.
Yeah.
Didn't do it, but I was like, spray yourself,
So crazy.
and it pops like that. Like, spray yourself in the face.
Y'all.
It's
I
wild.
love hearing other people's intrusive thoughts.
I
like,
know.
they're so crazy.
But I saw on TikTok made me realize people have these thoughts, and I think
Yeah,
that's what made
they
us
do.
start talking about them, because I told you about it, or we were talking about it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I saw a TikTok, and it
Mhm.
was like, hold up, wait
Yeah.
a minute, I have
Every-
these thoughts sometimes too.
Everyone has them.
Yeah, and it's like, one I saw on TikTok was this girl was saying she wanted to throw her coffee in her
Wait,
husband's
I get that
face.
one sometimes too.
It was like, throw your coffee in his face.
Yeah. 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 Or sometimes you're just driving and you're like, what if I just like go into the other lane? Like,
I know.
it's freaky. But y'all, if you have intrusive thoughts, like, let us know your craziest ones. Like, we
Yes,
want to know.
please.
Yeah. Make us feel more normal.
Please.
Okay. Next, I just want to real quick, because we did touch on It Ends With Us.
Yeah.
movie. Okay. So It Ends With Us is a book by Colleen Hoover. Extremely popular book. You did say that you didn't read it because it couldn't be you, because it was popping off and
It
you
was.
couldn't be like other girls. You couldn't read it.
I'm so quirky. I couldn't. I couldn't
So,
read it.
That's okay, because I read it for the both of us. It was like meh, but I still was excited about the movie. And we talked about it a little bit and how the casting like didn't really match what most people thought it would be. And this is not a hot take, because from what social media, like the reports are out there,
Mhm.
and people are not happy with the casting of It Ends With Us.
I have been seeing this.
Yeah. Not only the casting, but recently they have put out like behind the scene pictures. And
Oh,
Miss Blake Lively,
Baby.
she looks way older than what the main character in the book should look like. And their wardrobe is just like really bizarre. So the main girl, Lily, she's like this in the book. You picture her as like this little cutesy, like she owns a little flower shop. She's like red hair. She's like a little cute, gorgeous little girl.
yeah.
Not that Blake Lively's not absolutely stunning,
Stunning.
because she is.
Right.
Love you, Blake Lively. But they have her looking like way older, and it's super weird. So I'm just wondering, like, what is the direction? Is the movie going to be just like a 180 from the book? Like, which is fine.
Right.
I just want to know, like, is it supposed to, mimic the book, or are they just taking like creative direction and going a whole nother way? I don't know, which, you know what? It's weird to me as a reader, but I'm also excited to watch it. It gives us something to talk about.
It
Like,
does give us something to talk about.
I want to know, where is this going?
And I think for someone that hasn't read the book,
Yeah.
but I'm all into the book aesthetics on Pinterest, which I'll tie that back in at some
Yes,
point.
Love that.
I did see the pictures of Blake.
Mm-hmm.
And for someone that I don't have expectations for how Lily should look, I don't really even know how she was described, but it doesn't look good.
No, it's just bizarre.
And
How
from
she's dressed.
that big
You'll have
brown
to go Google it.
dress skirt with the shirt over it.
She looks like a pilgrim almost.
Yeah, but I also think like the way in which she was described is, you know how everything is like cottage core now?
Yes.
And it's like the very light, dainty, feminine florals, but she's still like
That's exactly how I
does
picture her in the book.
flower shop.
Yes.
That's not giving that.
No, it's like Blake Lively looks like harsh in the pictures. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. It's
I'm
super
almost,
weird.
and I'll report back on this, but I'm
Yeah.
scared I won't like the movie.
I know.
Because of that reason, and I love Blake Lively.
Love her. Yeah. And I love Justin Baldoni, who I mentioned in our last episode, because he is from Jane the Virgin, which I love that show.
Mm-hmm.
But he, Ryle is the character in the book that he's supposed to play. Ryle.
kind of a cute
R-Y-L-E. Yeah.
Ryle.
Yeah. It's an interesting name.
It is.
He's supposed to be like, this like really handsome, sexy man. And not that Justin Baldoni's not. He's just not giving what you would think. But this is like the curse that comes with reading the book and they have an expectation for the
Yeah,
movie because
and
it's
everyone-
never really going to match.
I was going to say that, and I feel like that's for everyone. I think
Yeah.
everyone probably has a different person they would picture
Yeah,
to be Lily
Exactly.
or Ryle.
yeah. And I'm pretty sure Colleen Hoover, the author of the book, has a say in this movie. So if this is her vision,
I would hope so.
then maybe we're all just like wrong. Like, I don't know.
That's a possibility.
We will report back on this.
Yes.
We will be watching and we will let y'all know what we think of the movie.
And I'll read the damn book.
Just read it.
I'm
Amber.
going to read the
Yeah.
freaking book.
And I really just want everybody to read it so we can talk about it. Like, let's just talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
going to do it. Okay.
I think you should do it. So that was our update to It Ends With Us. Now, this kind of leads me into books that were made into movies
Yes.
because I want to highlight some books.
Okay,
and
let's do it.
I'm shook that I didn't think of this the first episode, but when we were talking about books that we have read that have kind of like made us into these little bookworms that we are,
Yes.
like Twilight.
I
Hello.
know.
How did I forget about Twilight? I was a Twilight freak. Freak.
She's an F-R-E-A.
That was me.
With
Twilight,
Twilight.
I was one of those people, which I know is not like rare. Like everybody was obsessed.
Yeah.
I just was part of the group. So me and my friend Cassidy, shout out Cassidy, she lives in Mississippi. Because
Hey, Cassidy.
we moved to Picayune after Hurricane Katrina.
Mhm.
And my bestest friend ever was Cassidy, and we were obsessed with Twilight. Like, of course, we read them all, and we went to every single movie premiere and like cried in the theater, like sobbing. Like that was me. I was obsessed. So it's shocking that I forgot to mention that, but I was a Twilight freak. And those books,
Which team were you on?
I don't really remember. If I could choose now, I would choose Edward.
I would too.
But back then, I was Jacob because
just
like
he was cuter.
Taylor Lautner
to
was
me.
so hot. Like
I thought he was
so
way
hot.
cuter. I mean,
Yeah,
I
he
do,
was so hot.
I do like a
I know.
tan man with
Same.
dark hair.
Literally both of our husbands.
Literally.
But I was so Team Jacob. But now
Yes.
looking back, like Team Edward for sure. But those books are really big. And I read those in like middle school. Like I was in like 6th grade. So shout out to me.
Shout out to you.
But those books were all the craze. So I was totally on Twilight, train. I still am. I really want
Yeah.
to rewatch and like look for my adult lens. We should do that.
We should do
We
that.
should
That would be
rewatch.
so fun.
Yes. And my brother did get me Midnight Sun last
Mhm.
Christmas, which is Twilight just told from Edward's perspective.
Oh, I did hear about that. But I
Yes.
didn't read any
I
of it.
didn't. I have it on my shelf, but I didn't read it. I do plan on reading it though.
Yeah,
'cause
that would be
I think that's interesting.
interesting.
Yes. Okay. My
Do you
other
have any
books,
other? Okay, that's what I was going to
ha-
ask you.
Yes, I have a few. Lisa Jewell, she is an author that I just want to highlight because
Oh, yes.
yeah,
I'm
I feel like
excited
we
for this.
both enjoy Lisa Jewell books.
Yes.
But the book that like sticks, I honestly can't like think of off the top of my head books that she wrote besides this one. So I know that this is the one that stuck with me, which is Then She Was Gone.
I have that on my list too. I'm glad you're bringing that up.
Yes, I believe I gifted you this for Christmas.
Baby, you
I gave
did.
it to
I
you.
will say Colby put me onto this book.
Yes, this is one that really stuck with me. Now, the way I know that I really like the book is like if I really thought about it and continue to think about it. Like when
Mhm.
people ask me like, "What's a book I should read?" Like that comes to mind. This one, for whatever reason, really, really stuck with me. So it's Then She Was Gone. It follows a mother who lost her daughter when she went missing at the age of 15. We find out what happens to her as the book unfolds through several different character perspectives. The truth about what happened is pretty dark, which we
Mhm.
love a dark
We love a dark.
turn.
Love.
This one was rough though, but the book did have a decent ending. It does come full circle in like a really weird and like unsettling way.
Mhm.
But I remember finishing the book, closing it, and being like, wow, I don't know. That one just really stuck with me.
It stuck with me too. I still will randomly think about that book.
Same.
And it's on my shelf at home. And if
Mhm.
I'm watching TV, my bookshelves are in front of me and
Mhm.
it'll catch my eye. And I'm like, damn,
That was a good
to
one.
read that one again for the first time.
Yes, that's one of I always see those TikToks where it's like books I wish I could read again for the first time.
Yeah.
And I'm always like,
That is one
that's
of them.
one of them.
Thank you for giving me
sure.
that book.
Another one that I do wish I could read again for the first time. This is an honorable mention, which I do
Mhm.
not see people talking about this book enough. I don't think you've read this one. This is My Dark Vanessa.
I didn't read that one.
I hate to even say it's so good because books that are like so dark and disturbing, it's like, ooh, it's like, was it good that I read that story about what happened to someone? Because I do believe this one is like loosely based off of experiences that the author had.
Oh.
But it was also one that stuck with me. So it was a pretty intense book, but it was eye-opening and powerful. It highlights the effects that relationships during your formative years, like, teenage years, have on you in your adult life. I think we can all relate to that. Like the intense feelings you have as a teenager
Right.
in a relationship.
Yes.
It really does stick with you forever. So this book is about a young girl who develops an intimate relationship with her high school teacher. He was obviously significantly older than her.
Mhm.
It details her journey in that and how it affected her in adulthood. So the narrator switches back and forth between past and present, and you do feel invested in her story. It was just really well written and one that I was like, dang, when I finished, like it stuck with me.
Yeah.
So that's one I recommend.
Mhm.
Last one I want to just honorable mention to Colleen Hoover is Ugly Love.
Ugh,
That one hurt me.
Colby.
You told me to read that one.
I did.
And I got it on Kindle. I read it. It was not just like your typical cliche, like
Love story.
No, it was so much more than that. It does take a while to like get to the meat of it. Like
It does.
It's not just like boy meets girl. It's like the boy or the guy is like super troubled, and you're like frustrated the whole book. But once you finally realize why he is the way he is, shook. Like you
God.
won't be okay. I cried in my bed. That one hurt me.
That one hurt.
Yeah.
And
Hurt in a good way though. Like I remember I left leaving the book. I shut the book and was like, wow. I don't know. That was one that made me think. I don't want to give too much away for people who are interested in reading, but like that's one that'll make you really contemplate.
for sure, that was one that was so emotional
Mm-hmm.
that I couldn't imagine going through
Yes.
what they went through.
The character went through. Yeah. But it was really, really good.
I did
also,
like that
I
one.
want to say that I have read a lot more by Colleen Hoover.
Mhm.
I just have not been like so impressed, so moved. It's personal preference. So like Regretting You was by Colleen Hoover, and also Layla, which was like a supernatural twist, like ghost.
I do want to read Layla.
It was, I would say read it. Like it was interesting. It wasn't like life changing the way like
Mhm.
Ugly Love was. But the thing about Colleen is that like you will finish her books because they're like,
Yes.
you're interested.
Yeah, and
She
I think
pulls you
I'm for sure. And I think I mentioned this on the last episode.
Mhm.
Too Late by
Yes,
Colleen Hoover.
yes,
It's one
yes.
of her older books.
Mhm.
Also very, very good.
Yeah, you may want to read that one too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's all that's on my like honorable mention books.
I have two.
Okay.
The first one I have is Still Beating by Jennifer Hartman.
Yeah, you told me about that one.
Did you read that one yet?
No, but you told me about it.
It's a dark romance,
Mhm.
and I was recommended this book by some coworkers, and I was intrigued right away. The author does a really good job of describing the emotions the characters felt
Mhm.
and what lengths people will go through to get out of an insane situation and kind of what follows them after.
Okay.
It's definitely not a happy book.
Yeah.
It's not a light read. So the main character is Cora, and she and her sister's fiance are abducted and held captive in the abductor's basement, and the story kind of follows what that sick, like, piece of shit abductor
Yeah.
makes them do.
Oh, so, wait, her and her sister's fiance.
Fiance.
Ooh, okay.
It's very dark, very
Yeah.
intriguing. I finished that one pretty quick too,
Okay.
but
I think I'm sold. I'm gonna read that one.
you should read that one.
Okay.
And then my other is Seven Husbands of
Yeah.
Evelyn Hugo.
Mhm.
That is, I'm pretty sure it's one of my favorite books I've ever read. It's very much out of the thriller, horror genre that we love so much. It's more of a historical fiction romance,
Literally.
which is crazy for
Yeah.
me. But I do love the glitz and the glam of old Hollywood, and this story kind of chronicles the life of the actress Evelyn Hugo.
Mhm.
She wants to tell her story, and she seeks out Monique, who is a skilled writer,
Mhm.
to write her book. And then throughout the meetings with Evelyn and her story writing, Monique starts to feel an extreme connection to Evelyn and kind of starts to think, I wonder why she picked me, of all people, to write this book. I think about that one all the time,
That was one that so that was on my DNF list. Did not finish.
which is so crazy
It's
to
so
me.
crazy. And I do wish I would have finished it. For some reason, I don't know, I guess bored maybe. And we
yeah.
were reading at the same time. So I was like, you know what? You just tell me like how it ends and what happens. Well,
Yes.
You were like, I just finished. I'm not okay.
Sobbing.
Yeah. So I was like, just tell me what happens. I can't wait. Like, I don't think I'm going to finish it. So you told me and I was sobbing.
Yes.
That was one that I do wish I would have finished because, like, when you told me how everything came together, I was like, wow, that was a really great story.
That is one I wish
Yeah.
I could experience reading for the first time
Yes.
again.
Yeah.
I was extremely connected to the characters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And just I finished that book and wanted more.
Yeah.
And that's the first book that got me started on the Pinterest book aesthetics.
Book aesthetic.
Because you had told me something about, I saw you should listen to, what is the song?
Champagne Problems.
Champagne
by
Problems.
Taylor Swift.
So then I fell down that rabbit hole because I fall down
rabbit holes often.
Rabbit holes often where I become obsessed with
Mm-hmm.
things and concepts.
Mm-hmm.
So I looked that up, and through research, I fell into book aesthetics. So you can go on Pinterest and look up, for example, the 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo aesthetic. And it pulls up these collages of like
that people
pictures.
make of like what they think
Yes.
the book was like
captures
pictures.
the vibe, the setting, the characters, the feelings, all of that into one. Kind of like a mood board.
I love that. Yeah, mood board. Yeah, for a book.
So then I was like, I'm going to make my own, but 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo made me do that.
Love it.
And I do want to read What Happened to Kitty Carr because I feel like it's going to give me the same vibe.
Same vibe as Evelyn Hugo.
Yes.
First of all, I love Evelyn Hugo's name. Like, she's just
Evelyn
Hugo.
Such
a queen.
She was a queen.
I do think it's being made into something. Movie,
it is.
series.
I think
Is
it's
it?
gonna be
Okay.
a Netflix series. And I am so excited to read that. Listen to me. Watch that.
We will report back on that.
Oh, that's what I'm watching.
Yes.
Oh.
Love, love, love. Okay, so 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. There you go. Next, let's talk about quickly currently watching. So I have 2 that I just want to give like honorable mentions to.
Yes.
First, Jury Duty. It's on Amazon Prime. Now, I heard about this show and I was like reluctant to watch it.
Mhm.
I don't know why. It just like didn't sound like my type of show. So basically the premise of the show is it's a documentary series where it's about jury duty. Like it's
Mhm.
supposed to highlight what happens when you are called to jury duty in the American legal system.
Right.
So everyone in this documentary knows they're in a documentary, except there's this one guy named Ronald. I don't remember his last name, but his name is Ronald.
Mhm.
Is an actor. So everyone is an actor besides Ronald. They're all like in on this, documentary that's supposed to seem like it's a legit jury, like a legit
Yeah.
case, but it's not. So it's a whole fake case. Everyone comes in, they're actors, and Ronald thinks he's like in
Oh,
this.
he believes it.
He
that
believes
it's
it.
real.
And that's why it's so like sweet to watch because he thinks that it's real. He knows he like signed up to be on a show, but he like says at the end that he thinks the show was like a little low budget documentary. Like he didn't think it was ever going to get like it would see the light of day, but it ended up being like this huge hit. It is so funny. It's like The Office vibes. Did you ever watch The Office?
Yes, I did watch The Office.
Okay, love The Office.
Wait,
It's The
I
Office.
feel like I need to watch it.
You do. You would love it. It's The Office vibes because the humor is so dry. It's just like so real
I love
life.
that. Yeah.
And I think it's really cool because I've never seen improv actors, and everyone in the show is an improv actor. Like I think they were given a role, and like this is who your person is, and this is who you should like personify as this
Yeah.
character. But like they got free reign because you don't know how Ronald, the real person, was gonna like respond to certain situations. So they just had to like
Wait.
improv in the moment, like react to him.
I heard a little bit about the show and I heard Ronald is like chef's kiss.
Chef's
Such a
kiss.
good man.
Yeah, and it like restored my faith in humanity watching this show because
Oh my
he
gosh.
is like a real person, and they throw these like crazy ass situations at him to
Mhm.
see like how a real person responds, and like every single one he passed the test.
Oh.
Like he was always just like helpful, like kind, and he's like
What a
you could tell he
sweetheart.
was so real, like he was just like nervous all the time. And like the
relatable.
relatable in the last episode, he like takes the stand. They like make him be the person who presents the jury's like final verdict, and so he takes the stand, and the judge is like, "This was literally fake." Like he tells them, and he is like visibly shook.
Shook.
Yeah, and
What does
everybody
he respond?
he's like, you could tell he's like shocked. He doesn't know what to say, but everybody is like, "We love you." Like we all like took on this role, but we fell in love with you. Like you
Yeah.
were such a good person. You can tell he's like maybe even a little bit hurt, and like I don't know.
Oh.
I know because I would feel a little bit. He was like, "Wait, y'all were literally all lying to me. Like I thought
I
this
could
was like I
see
thought you
where-
were my friends." You could see that, right?
Yeah, I could see where that would freaking suck.
Yeah, like mess with his like mindset. Like, what? This was fake? But he ended up winning like $100,000. So like it was worth it. And now he's like super famous. So shout out Ronald.
Good for him.
You would really like it.
We
though.
love you,
Ronald.
Ronald.
If you watch it, you'll fall in love with him. He's just so sweet.
Oh.
Love. Okay, the next thing I want to highlight that I've currently been watching is Vanderpump Rules.
Yes.
This is a reality show. And I'm like weird about reality TV. Sometimes I watch, sometimes I don't.
I watch it constantly.
Do you really?
My list of currently watching is reality TV.
No, I didn't know that really about you. That you were like a reality TV girl.
I am.
I'm like, it just depends. Like I'm a Netflix reality TV girl. I like all the silly, stupid shit, like Too Hot to Handle, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, yeah, that's good too.
So good. But so we obviously listen to The Toast, which is this podcast that we love.
Obsessed with The Toast.
Obsessed with The Toast. Love them. And they always recap Bravo reality TV shows. So I've been listening to Vanderpump Rules like recaps from Claudia and Jackie on this podcast that we listen to. So I'm like kind of in the know with what's going on. Well, I recently got YouTube TV. Shout out to my stepdad who gave us his password.
Thank you.
So I was able to get access to all these cable TV channels.
Yeah.
So I decided to look up if they had Vanderpump Rules to watch it for myself, and they did. So I'll rewatch the whole season. That's like been the talk of the world.
That's the most recent season, right?
Yes, it's the most recent season. Amber, you have to watch it. The drama is so juicy. It's so good.
So I didn't realize. So I know everything that's kind of going on with Scandival.
Yes.
Like,
Raquel.
what the hell?
Yeah.
I didn't know that it was captured in the most recent season.
Right. Because what happened was, and I didn't realize this either, what happened was that they were filming the recent season and this affair was going on when no one really knew. And then the affair was found out like towards the end of filming, or maybe filming had already wrapped, but like very recently. So they brought the cameras back out and like, we're like, let's just get this. Like
producers were on their shit with that.
Yes, they were on it.
Did you see where they had matching necklaces?
Yes.
The lightning bolts?
They were literally hidden in plain sight. These two people who had an affair is who we're talking about.
I would die.
Would kill her.
Like,
die. She would die. Okay, so just like quick recap, and I won't spoil too much because I do think even if you're like eye roll at reality TV, this one is like super juicy. It's super good.
I was about to say, don't eye roll because
it's so good. So,
I like reality TV.
I love it. So it's these like friend group. They're like all up in the mix, and like watching the season from the lens of knowing what you know that there was an affair going on. It's like crazy. What like observing people's behaviors. So there's this girl named Raquel, and she was having an affair secretly with Tom Sandoval, and he was in a 9-year relationship with this girl named Ariana. So the whole season you're watching like them all hang out, and you watch like now that you know that they were having an affair, you see these like little gestures that Raquel was giving, and you're like, I
didn't think about rewatching it. No,
you have to go rewatch it because you can see these like the things that they say, and you're like, these motherfuckers are like
hooking up the whole time,
hiding in plain sight. What happened was like towards the end of filming, Tom Sandoval was like doing a little show. He's like a cover band artist.
Yeah.
And his phone dropped. So Ariana, his girlfriend of 9 years, she just had that gut feeling, she had it in her belly. She was like, let me look through his phone.
Trust your gut.
Trust your gut, girls. Because she trusted her gut, and she saw, sadly, something that was incriminating to Tom Sandoval. And she got his ass. And that was it. I don't know if she like came public with it or what, but then they like brought back up filming, and now this is Scandival because his name is Tom Sandoval. But it's a scandal.
So he is Scandival.
Yes. You'll have to watch. It's so juicy. It's so good. I'm like all up in the mix. It's like, and it's good because it's like live right now. It's happening right now.
Yes. So I used to watch Vanderpump Rules when it was on like regular cable television.
Yeah.
When I was
good old
at
cable
home.
TV.
Right. And then remember, they like kicked Stassi off.
Yes.
That's when I stopped watching because I loved me some Stassi.
Same. And she has a podcast too that I listen to.
She
so
does.
I like to keep up with her.
And so like once she was off the show, I was like, well, I don't really care to watch anymore. And then this shit started popping off, and now I need to get back in.
You do. It's one that it's worth like rewatching because it's so interesting. And this girl Raquel, they say like Raquel.
Raquel.
She's so interesting to observe. Like her behavior, she's like nuts, but like kind of love her. Like she's so bold. Love it. It's something to talk about. So if y'all are enjoying Scandival, let us know. I want to talk about it.
Yes, because we love to talk about
Love.
all the things.
What is on your like currently watching?
Okay, so currently watching You, Me, and My Ex
What?
on
Literally
Discovery
never heard of
Plus.
that.
Okay, so Discovery Plus is like the mansion, the grand home of all things reality TV. So You, Me, and My Ex details the inner workings of relationships that people have. Like they're currently in relationships, but their ex is like a bestie or lives in the
No.
same house with them.
What?
Yes. So there's 4 couples that the show follows. There might be more, but I feel like it's just 4 people. And it's so interesting.
Yeah.
So there's this one couple where the guy's ex-girlfriend, she just moved out of her house or her lease was up and she had nowhere to go. So he's like, oh, come live with us. So she like goes and lives with her ex-boyfriend and his current girlfriend.
What?
Yeah.
Not normal.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
No. Straight up.
No.
Never gonna happen.
Right.
But I'm very into that show.
Yeah, that sounds really good.
And then Josh and I are watching Below Deck together.
Okay. Another reality TV. Is it Bravo?
It is Bravo.
Okay.
So the one we're watching is yachting, and it's the most recent season. So they're in St. Lucia, which is really cool because that's where we honeymooned. So
Love
some of the
that.
things that they're showing on the show are
Y'all
like,
like seeing.
we're like, holy shit, we did that. That's
Yeah.
cool. Like one of the speedboats goes flying past.
Excuse-moi.
Oh, I got a little frog in my throat. And like these people are like partying,
Yeah.
and the guy that does the speedboat tours, you could see him in the shot, and I'm like, oh my god, that was the exact boat we were on.
That is really
It was really cool. But
Oh
we're
my God, that
very
is
into
cool.
Below Deck,
Yeah.
and I think we're both watching Love and Death right now.
Yes, we are.
So that's
HBO Max?
HBO Max,
Yeah.
and that is kind of covering the Candy Montgomery
Yeah.
case from 1980,
Yeah.
1979.
Around that time, yeah.
So that's really good.
That is really good. And they did do another rendition of the show first on Hulu
Yes.
called Candy.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So this show follows the case of Candy Montgomery. She murdered her she was sleeping with this guy,
Yes.
Alan Gore.
Alan Gore.
Yes, she ended up murdering Alan Gore's wife, Betty Gore,
Yes.
out of like, is it self-defense? That's a big question.
Yeah.
You know, but both shows were done so well.
Yeah.
The Hulu one was with Jessica Biel, who I love.
Love me some Jessica Biel.
Me too.
But I do think I am enjoying Love and Death more.
Me too. On HBO Max. Yeah.
Just because it's a little longer,
Yeah.
not too long, but it shows and gives more details than Candy on
Yeah.
Hulu gave.
Agreed. And I have something to say about this. I've recently saw a TikTok. Okay, I'm sorry to keep referencing TikTok,
We love some TikTok.
but I saw a TikTok where someone said shows that are like set in the past are super interesting because some people, like some actors and actresses, have something that they call a period face.
Yes, I
Meaning
saw
that-
that too.
Okay, and I thought this was so true. Some actresses have faces that you can picture living in like a certain time period,
Yes.
like the 60s or the 80s, where other actresses you don't feel as like you don't buy into the show as much because you're like that person just looks like they belong in 2023.
Yeah, they're too present day to be in that
Exactly.
time.
So
Yeah.
I do kind of feel like the Love and Death has me more intrigued because who is it? Elizabeth Olsen. She plays Candy, who looks she's more believable for somebody who existed during that time period. I cannot tell you why. Like what it is
Yeah.
about her that makes her seem like you can believe that she lived during that time period versus Jessica Biel.
Yeah, okay. Now, I think I'm a little opposite because at first I
Mhm.
felt that Elizabeth Olsen didn't
Have the face?
have the look more
I
so.
get that.
I
Yeah.
can see her face, but like her hairstyle to me wasn't
True.
for that time period because it was like literally like these cute, loose, like beach waves.
Yeah.
But as the show progressed,
Mhm.
she was definitely more of a Candy Montgomery than
Yeah.
Jessica Biel.
Maybe the way she played her. They did
Yeah,
have Jessica
her
Biel's
voice.
hair.
like in that perm.
Yes. The like
Look,
tight curls
tight.
that they had in the 80s.
Yeah. But I do think Elizabeth Olsen's voice, like the way.
She portrayed her. Yeah.
Yeah.
The shows are so similar though. The Hulu version and the HBO version, they are very, very
Yeah.
similar.
Super similar.
Love both of them though.
Me too. Okay. Should we talk about our DNF
Yeah.
book?
The Sea of Tranquility.
I need to know your thoughts.
Okay, we got to talk about it. Okay, y'all. So the book that we had originally chosen for
Yes.
this next episode was Sea of Tranquility by Miss Emily St. John Mandel, and we put it on our DNF list.
Ooh, our first one.
Yeah, our do not finish list.
This is our
So,
first DNFer.
Why did we put this on the DNF list? All right, here's the thing. It does bother me a little bit to start a book and not finish it.
I hate doing it.
I do hate that. It just, something about it bothers me. Usually though, if I'm not hooked on the book like right away, I'll like power through, I'll skim through, I'll skip, I will cheat.
Same here.
Yes,
I
to
like
get to the end.
Yeah, I want to get to like at least chapter 10 too.
Exactly. And a lot of times I'll skip and then I'll like Google how does this end and I'll like tap, tap, tap,
Yep.
tap, tap on my Kindle to get to the end if I'm not into it.
Mm-hmm.
This one though in particular, it did just feel kind of dreadful for me to get through. And let's talk about why. It's no shade to the author, Miss Emily St. John Mandel.
None at all.
Stunning name, by the way.
Yeah.
Emily St. John Mandel.
Menzel.
I know she's a literary queen. I know her writing is so beyond metaphorical, impressive, way past anything I could ever write.
Okay.
Anyone could write.
Same.
So it's no shade to Emily. It's just that this book, personally, I had to try too hard to understand what, like, literally each sentence in the book.
I'm so glad you
meant.
said that
Okay, good.
because I was straight up 2% into the book
Oh no.
and I'm like, I think I'm bored.
I was bored and like just the wording in it. It was set in like I don't even know what
When?
time period. That's the thing. I couldn't figure it
It
out.
was way back when.
Way back when. She said something about a spade. I don't know. I didn't know what the fuck she was talking about.
Me either.
So I'm sorry, Emily. I
am
tried.
I was bored. I felt dumb.
Yes, and like here's the thing for me, and especially for us right now, I want reading to be enjoyable.
Yes,
So,
as
right,
it should be.
right. I want it to be a book that I care about, that I'm invested in. I don't want it to feel like I'm really trying to pass a history class, you know?
Right, like you have to read it because you have to write a paper.
Right, and that's how I felt. I was like,
It
push,
was
push,
too
push through.
forced. I was like,
Exactly. So my final like push to say,
Mhm.
Amber, should we change the
Mhm.
book? My nanny texted me, shout out nanny, which by the way, I want to say in New Orleans, we have like godparents, godmothers and godfathers,
Yes.
and we call them nanny and paran.
yes.
I think
Or
that's like-
pappy.
or pappy. Well, pappy.
Mine's my pappy.
It's my pappy. I think that not many other places in the world do this. So when I refer to my nanny, she's my godmother. Shout out nanny, love you. She texted me and was like, I don't know that I can get through this. And I was like, no, Amber and I feel the same way.
Mhm.
So we decided to change the book. But she did give us a little summary because she actually finished the book. So thank you,
Nice.
Nan.
Yes, thank you, Nanny.
So I just want to let y'all know what her little recap of the book was, because if
Yeah.
you do, want to read this book, you should.
Yeah.
And this is like her recap. So she said, it's definitely a slow burn. Slow burn?
slow burn.
A slow burn, but it's difficult to follow. There are several characters with stories all set in different times and places. So you do kind of feel stuck. Like you're wondering, how does this connect? What's going on? However, it all comes together at the end. She found it intriguing and satisfying. She wanted to know she wanted to let people know. She probably wouldn't recommend it if you're someone like us who wants like a page turner or something
Mhm.
super quick. This is more for somebody who likes like a slow burn, something that makes you deeply think, contemplate life, its purposes, and its lessons, which is always good. The message she took away from it, though, was no matter what the meaning of life was, it doesn't really matter. The meaning of life is like, she really didn't know.
But no,
like,
that's so fucking
the
real
meaning
though.
of life, question mark.
Like no, but really, what's the meaning of life?
she sent me another message after that was like, honestly, that didn't even make sense. So like she was just like, I don't know, question mark. It was good, but like, don't know.
Right.
So that's where we landed with that.
I like that though.
Yeah, it was like she made it, I guess it made you think about like the concept of reality and like the meaning
Yeah.
of life. So whatever that means, shout out to Nanny for finishing.
Thank you, Nanny.
It just couldn't be me.
It couldn't be
So-
me.
Love you, Emily St. John Mandel. We're sorry.
And no, there was literally a point where I was reading it and I had to Google what is a Halifax. And I might even be saying that wrong. Only to find out it's the capital of Nova Scotia. I had no
What?
idea.
What's Nova Scotia?
I had no idea that what I was Googling was a place. I thought it was an item.
I thought
thing.
when you said Halifax just now, I thought about like it was like a concept, a thing.
No, it's the capital of Nova Scotia.
Okay.
And like the whole time my inner dialogue wanted to read in a British accent, I was
Yeah.
tripping. I was like, I can't read this whole book in an accent.
Oh no.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
Did you have any other thoughts on that?
No, I just feel like that's that on that.
That's that on that.
We tried and we did not succeed.
It just was not it.
It wasn't it, and
But
that's
you know-
okay.
It is okay.
Yeah.
But you know what is that? Is that?
That is.
Ooh.
Is that? What is it?
Freida McFadden.
Yes. Let's talk about her.
Please.
Okay.
Let's talk about her.
So this episode is about Never Lie by Miss Freida McFadden. I pulled this from Amazon, but let's just talk about like who she is because I did find
Yeah.
like what she actually does was a little shocking. I had no idea because we have read a few books by her before we read this
Yes.
one, and I never really like looked into her before this. So Freida McFadden, she's a New York Times bestseller. You know, she's got all the credentials. However, not only is she an author, but she's also a practicing physician specializing in brain injury. She has penned multiple best-selling psychological thrillers and medical humor novels, which is like interesting medical
That
humor
is.
novels. This part I found interesting. She lives with her family and a black cat in a centuries-old 3-story home overlooking the ocean.
Ugh.
So
Amazing.
amazing. Yeah, she's got like creepy staircases. So she's kind of just like a, psychological queen. Like
Yeah.
she
knows the inner workings.
she knows the inner workings. So this book, Never Lie, it was a page turner. It was I'm gonna say this right now. I
It
was
was so
more
good.
hooked than I was on Sea of Tranquility by Emily St. John Mandel. Sorry.
Yeah, page 1.
Yeah, I was in.
I was in. I love when a book plops you right in
Mhm.
the middle of the action.
Yeah. And
Which
you
is what this book did.
Yeah, you want to read about it.
Yep.
You want to find out what happens. So, you want to get into the book?
Please. Are
Okay.
you going to hit us with the summary?
Let's hit you with
Let's
a summary.
do it.
Y'all, the summary, it's kind of a lot, but the payoff, I do feel like is worth it in the end. You
Yes.
finally get answers. So, if you feel like, what the hell is going on, you will get answers.
Yes.
I'm going to try to keep it short and sweet, and then we'll get into like what we think of the book.
Yeah, which I like doing this just because if for some reason you're listening and you didn't read the book,
Yeah.
the summary will help you understand what's happening.
What we're talking about, and then you can kind of think of, come up with your own ideas. on
Right.
what you think, what was this book trying to convey?
For sure.
Which I do have thoughts, and I cannot wait.
Me
tell you.
either.
So here we go. Never Lie by Freida McFadden. Here's a little summary. So we follow 2 different perspectives telling the story in this book. We have Trisha, who is recently married to a man named Ethan, and we have Adrian, who is a therapist. She is super well known due to her best-selling novels and her successful career. So she chooses to live in a super isolated cabin where she also sees her patients inside of her house. This is super controversial to the people around her because they think it's super unsafe for her to have her patients come into her house, her literal home where she lives.
Yep.
And it's supposed to be safe. But she is really headstrong. She's like, this is where I want to do it. She doesn't care what other people say. All right. So one other thing about Adrienne, the therapist, is that she's really keen on figuring out when someone is lying to her, hence the title, Never Lie. She's like, you cannot lie to me. I will know. That is her thing. So that's her
Fucking Adrienne.
specialty. Yes. So we lead with Trisha, who is traveling with Ethan to go look at a house that they're interested in buying. They're newlyweds and they want to start a life together. So Trisha finds this house and she tells Ethan, let's go look at it. Let's tour the house. So the house belongs, though, to none other than the therapist, Adrienne, who we then find out has been missing for several years. There have not really been any leads on her case, and Trisha and Ethan Ethan finally make it to the cabin. However, the cabin, aka Adrian's home, is snowed in by a severe blizzard. They're unable to leave, so they're stuck. So we're still in like Trisha's point of view. We do flip flop back and forth between point of views of Trisha and Adrian. Trisha, like this word has me like stumbling. Trisha. It's getting me.
I also want to Patricia.
Yeah, that TikTok. Patricia. So the word Trisha, like I'm sorry if I keep stumbling over it. It's just kind of hard to say. It's the C and the IA. Okay. So Trisha, Adrian, they have no choice but to get cozy in this cabin and stay the night. Trisha presents herself as super freaked out by this. Like she's weirded out. She's uncomfortable at the thought of staying in this missing person's house. However, Ethan, her newlywed, seems to be pretty okay with this. He doesn't see it as a big deal, and Ethan, this makes him seem a little suspicious. Like, why is he so comfortable staying in this missing person's house? But we do find out that Trisha is pregnant, and she has not told Ethan yet because he previously told her that he wanted to wait a little while before they had a baby. So she admits that like they move super fast in their relationship, and she doesn't feel like she knows who he is 100%. She's a little nervous to tell him about the baby. She doesn't know how he's going to react. So it makes you kind of start to question their relationship. Like these people don't really know each other. They're stuck in a cabin. They do seem to love each other from Trisha's perspective. But you start to question Ethan a little bit in this whole situation. So some creepy things obviously start happening while they're at the cabin. Weird noises are heard. Also, Adrian, whose house it was previously, has this giant portrait of herself like hanging up.
Yes.
And like throughout the novel, the portrait comes down, it goes back up. Trisha doesn't know who's taking it down and up. She's like, what the fuck? Ethan claims like he didn't move the portrait. Like it's just like who's moving this portrait kind of vibes. Is there someone else in the house? You start to think. So Trisha and Ethan think of ways out of this situation. Like they want to get out of this cabin. However, they're really stuck because of the weather. So the weather kind of like finds them here throughout the story. It's the blizzard. They can't leave because of the blizzard. So Trisha starts to look around the house for something to keep her quote unquote busy, like a book to read, when she finds this office, this creepy secluded office, and it has this huge selection of cassette tapes. So obviously Trisha begins to listen to the cassette tapes. This is how Trisha gets access to personal tape recordings from Adrian's therapy session. So Adrian recorded all of the sessions that she had with her patients. She kept the actual recordings in her office in her home. All the cassette tapes are labeled with the patient's initials. Trisha listens to the tapes of each patient. The first patient that she really gets into is initialed EJ, which obviously makes you wonder right off the bat, like, is it Ethan? Right. Is it the person that she's married to? Ethan, right. The same letter E. So I think that kind of was the push. Like you want to start thinking EJ is Ethan.
That's when you definitely are like, I'm picking up on the clues you're giving me.
Exactly.
Or you think.
At Freida. So through these tape recordings, we do find out that EJ, he's an absolute asshole. Okay, he's super pushy. He's rude to Adrian, the psychologist. She did diagnose him with narcissistic personality disorder. He goes on and on through these sessions about his life. He's really entitled. He thinks the world owes him something. So Trisha hears all this through the tapes with Adrian and him and how they interact with each other. So then we switch over to Adrian's perspective. Now this whole book kind of switches back and forth through perspective. So we do get Adrian's perspective, the psychiatrist, therapist, whatever. She diagnosed him with narcissistic personality. You can tell through these tape recordings that Adrian and EJ have like a really strange, tumultuous relationship. Something weird is happening between them. EJ is like super obsessed with her, and she is like audibly freaked out by it. Like she's kind of scared of him. Even though she's this headstrong person, like you could tell EJ makes her feel uncomfortable through the tapes. So we learn a little bit more about Adrian through the tapes. She cares about her patients. However, she does have like a really low tolerance for anything that doesn't personally serve her. So she seems a little selfish.
That part.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to get into that.
Yes, she seems a little selfish. She's not entirely unlikable, but she also doesn't give like this super empathetic energy that you think like a therapist would. So she has the sessions with EJ where she can tell he's a narcissist. His parents pay for all of these sessions in hope of him changing into a better person. However, his mother does claim that there's really no hope for him and he hasn't really gotten any better. So the mom says she's going to stop paying for his sessions. So Adrian tells EJ she's going to cut him off. Like she can't not receive payment for working with him. It's been several months that she got payment. So she's like, EJ, I'm sorry, but I can't help you anymore. Well, he is not having this. He says he loves spending time with Adrian. He will not stop therapy, and he threatens Adrian and tells her like she's gonna regret this.
It's so crazy.
So crazy. But at the time, Adrian like doesn't seem super phased. She's like, pish posh, like I'm not seeing you anymore. Goodbye. You think that might be the end of it. However, a few days later, Adrian gets a video from EJ's cell phone. It kind of stops her in her tracks. So it's a video of herself. She is slashing someone's tires in a parking lot. Someone's tires in a parking lot.
Crazy bitch.
Yeah. So Adrian claims that she did this because she was running late for work when someone stole her parking spot. So she just slashed their tires. I guess EJ was like stalking her. He recorded it. He sent it to her. He uses it as blackmail. He's like, if you don't see me, if you don't treat me as a patient without payment, I'm going to release this video. Adrian freaks out. She thinks that if this video gets released, it will ruin her career. Like she can't come back from it. So she does decide to take EJ back. So we'll get into that.
I know. I'm holding my comments for our DBQs.
No, because it's an interesting decision that she's like, no, I can't let this get out. I'm going to take this psycho back and for free.
Yeah.
So she takes him back. It's very clear that EJ just gets worse and worse and worse as we get to know him through these cassette tapes. He definitely develops like a creepy sexual ideation toward Adrian. It's clear that he's obsessed with her. However, in the midst of all this, Adrian ends up falling in love with a man named Luke, who I forget his like role in her office, but he's kind of like in and out of the office.
Yeah, he's almost like tech
or some kind of like
that.
Help,
Yeah.
For the office, so she gets to know him. She falls in love with him. Luke, who is probably the only like likable character in the book,
the only sane human
in the book. He kind of like opens Adrian up, and like she kind of softens up a little bit. She like starts to fall in love with him. So Luke is super sweet. He's patient with Adrian. However, EJ, he's still there, being a little pest. He starts demanding more and more from Adrian, telling her he needs to be with her sexually. And if she doesn't comply, he's going to release the video of her slashing someone's tires. So Adrian decides that she needs to end this. She cannot let Luke control her life anymore. I'm sorry, EJ control her life anymore. So she asks Luke for his help. Luke is her new boyfriend. She tells him that there's a terrible video of her, but she won't tell him like what happens in the video that EJ has and is using her to blackmail her. So she tries to get Luke to help her delete it. Reluctantly, he does agree. He clearly loves Adrian. So this is the plan that they come up with, and this is what they go through with. Because of this video, she could not let this video go. She decides she has to drug EJ during a therapy session. So she drugs him. He kind of like passes out. When he is unconscious, Luke goes into his house. He breaks into EJ's house. He deletes the video from his computer while Adrian deletes it from his phone. Of course, though, EJ, when he gets back home, he gets dropped off back home. He realizes what happened because he has like cameras at his house. He sees he wakes up confused. He looks at his cameras. He sees that Luke is like rummaging through his house. He quickly catches on that this whole thing was a plot to delete the video.
Yes.
So Luke is like, no, ma'am, I'm not going to let this fly. I mean, EJ's
I have
like, no,
so
ma'am.
many thoughts.
Right.
I have to save.
So EJ is like, I'm not going to let this go. I'm literally going to send not only the video of you slashing my tires, but also the video of your little boyfriend, Luke, breaking into my house.
Boom.
I'm going to send it out into the world, and y'all are both going to be done. So Adrian's like, well, there's no other option. we have to kill him. We have to kill EJ. Like,
The
duh.
only logical thing to do
Kill
is
him.
kill EJ.
Kill him. So she asks Luke, she tells him, look, he has a video of you. There's only one thing we can do. Like, we have to murder him. Luke, being a logical person, is like, no. And
I'm not doing it.
I'm not doing it. And he leaves Adrian like it's too much to ask. So Adrian and Luke are officially done at this point.
Mhm.
So y'all, we're almost finished, I promise. So now we're going to rewind back to Trisha's perspective. So Trisha's listening to all these tape recordings of Adrian and EJ. She's putting some pieces together about EJ being an absolute freak and possibly contributing to the disappearance of Adrian. She also listens to tapes from 2 more patients, one with the initials being PL and the other being GW. In the tapes with PL, Adrian speaks with a young woman who went through a traumatic experience when she was in a cabin with her fiance and 2 friends. An intruder came into the cabin and murdered everyone except for the young woman who escaped with just a stab wound. And this is PL. Okay, so Adrian works with PL to get past this traumatic event, and she also has sessions with someone with the initials of GW. This woman is a paranoid schizophrenic, so she thinks that most of the people around her want to kill her. She's like a very paranoid woman. She thinks that the mailman wants to kill her and also her own son.
Mhm.
So as we go back and forth between Trisha's present day perspective and Adrian's past perspective, Trisha and Ethan are still stuck in the house, in Adrian's house, while creepy things continue to happen, like noises coming from unknown places. Trisha and Ethan go looking for her ring that fell under a sofa, which is where they find a secret compartment. They open it up and they find none other than a dead corpse, a body.
Dun,
Dun, dun, dun. So now we're going to get some answers finally. Here's what happened. Adrian decided to handle the EJ situation on her own. During her last session with her patient PL, Adrian tells PL that she knows that PL was actually the person who murdered her husband in the cabin all those years ago. So all the stories that PL told Adrian about someone coming into the cabin, murdering her husband and her friends was bullshit. PL
So
was
fake.
So fake. PL was a murderer all along, and Adrian knew because Adrian's specialty is spotting a liar.
Yes.
So she knew that PL was lying to her. Adrian was able to tell she was lying from their very first session. She knew all along because PL always fixed her legs a certain way when she was about to tell a lie. So PL folds, and she admits to this because Adrian demands that PL help her with the situation, with the EJ situation, or she was going to come forward to the authorities about what she actually did all those years ago.
Yep.
So PL admits to this. She agrees that she's going to help Adrian handle EJ. So this is how Adrian and PL, when their crazy little minds concoct this plan to handle, quote unquote, handle EJ. This is what they do. PL meets EJ at a bar where she flirts with him. She lures him into the car and she drugs him. After he passes out, she drives him to Adrian's isolated cabin in the woods and leaves him alone with Adrian. Adrian ties him up after explaining to him that she will no longer let him dictate her life and hold this video over her head. She rolls him into this compartment that just so like happens to be in her house. She's got like this little compartment. She rolls him up in there. He's duct taped, by the way. He cannot move. She duct taped like any type of like holes or like breathing areas in the compartment. So he dies that way. Eventually, she has to include this part because I found it particularly disturbing. She just like leaves his body down there and lets it stank up the house.
I know.
I was like, why? I don't know. I just think there could have been other options. She's like, I'm gonna just leave it and pretend like it's not there. And she lets it stink up the house. She's like, eventually the smell went away. So like
she was something,
Adrian.
Something.
So eventually, I suppose the smell does go away. She and Luke eventually get back together. It's about 5 months later. She lies to Luke and she tells him that she handled EJ by quote unquote paying him off. Obviously, she does not tell him that she murdered him and that's how she got rid of him. She tells him that she paid him off. So Luke and Adrian, they get back together. They're finally about to live this happy life together. And all of a sudden, PL shows back up to Adrian's house. She says that she's getting nervous about what they did to EJ. His disappearance was starting to make the news, and she's worried that it's going to get traced back to her because of cameras. Adrian tells her that no, like, don't be worried. It's fine. I handled it. Like, you just need to leave.
Mm-hmm.
But PL says there's only one way that a secret's going to be kept, and it's if only one person knows it. And that's the very last perspective you get of Adrian.
Yep.
So here it is. Everything wraps together at this point. The next perspective we get is from Patricia. Patricia. This is where we officially find out that present day Patricia is actually Trisha, who's been our narrator the whole time. She's actually the patient PL from the tapes the whole time. So PL, who helped Adrian get rid of EJ, our narrator has been the murderer all along. She's been behind the whole thing. So she plotted to come out. She plotted to come and see this house in the blizzard. She knew that the blizzard would help her and Ethan get locked in.
Mm-hmm.
She wanted to use this time to look for EJ's body because she's getting a little bit worried about the police finding it. She wanted to find out what Adrian did with EJ. She knew that Adrian was dead because she literally killed her.
She
was
killed her.
the one. So it was her plan to come to the house, find the body, figure out what she wanted to do with it, and ensure she didn't get caught. So it all comes to an end when Trisha/Patricia and Ethan find Luke in the house. So he was the cause of all the strange noises. He was squatting in the house, living there kind of like a homeless person because everyone in his life dumped him because everyone accused him of possibly being involved in Adrian's disappearance when really he was just like collateral, sadly. So at this point, Patricia/Trisha decides to tell Ethan everything. She admits to him that she killed XYZ. She just tells him everything. So Ethan opens up to her and tells her that he actually killed his mom. So he's a crazy person too. His mom was patient GW. She was the paranoid schizophrenic. Turns out she had a right to be paranoid and schizophrenic because her child literally did kill her. So these two crazies are also perfect for each other. So it kind of seems at this point that Adrian met her match.
Yes.
With PL/Patricia.
Correct.
Finally, it all ends because Ethan and Patricia/Trisha decide that they have to obviously kill Luke. He knows too much. They cannot let him survive by any means. So Ethan savagely kills Luke.
Yep.
And they bury his body in the garden. These two crazies end up buying Adrian's house. They start a family there. Nobody ever ends up finding out about EJ. Luke's body's buried in the garden, and we find out that Patricia got rid of Adrian's body years and years ago when she first killed her. The book ends with Trisha saying that she's more than okay with the choices she made and all the people she murdered. She says that they all deserve to die for different reasons.
Yep.
The only reason she's a little bit worried, though, is because she doesn't think Ethan is as confident in her in their, misfortunate events. She's worried that if the police were to come snoop around one day, that he might cave.
Yep.
But she just reassures the audience by letting her know that she's got it covered because the only way to keep a secret is if only one person knows it.
There it is.
In the end. So that's the book.
Such a good summary.
Y'all, that was long, but it had to be said.
Has to be
Once
said.
again, just like womb, it had to be said.
It has to be said. I mean, I feel like we can't have an episode without the summary.
Yeah.
You kill the summary of the books.
Thank you. Oh my
And that
gosh.
was such a good read.
Yeah.
I was shook throughout that story. But I guess it's time for us to jump into our DBQs.
Yeah.
So DBQs are discussion-based questions from the book, and we'll have these in each episode, and we're going to post a few on our Instagram or any of our socials, the Open Book Podcast socials, for you to formulate your own analysis as you listen along with us and as you read the book. So we'll jump into number 1.
Okay.
Were you surprised somebody was hiding out in the house? Who did you think it was going to be? And who did you suspect rehung Adrian's portrait? And why might they do that?
Okay. No, I wasn't surprised someone was in the house, but I
wasn't either.
No, I thought it was Adrian the whole time. Did
Bitch,
you?
Me too.
Oh my God. I thought that she was still alive.
Me too.
I thought that she might have been hiding in her own house. Like she might have done something.
Colby.
You too.
Yes.
Okay. So I was not surprised that someone was in the house. I just did not think Adrian was dead, like the whole book.
Me either. I thought it was Adrian. I thought she was hanging up her picture, like
Yeah.
the portrait,
Like to say, like, bitch, don't move my picture.
because she really was the narcissist.
She was obsessed with herself the whole time. So I thought that she was
100%.
like, do not move the portrait of myself, ho. I'm going to move it back.
Yeah, and the things that they were that Freida was posting throughout the book, like the bangs, the fresh glass of water, the light being on, were things that I just felt like was someone that would be used to the home would do. So I was like, it's clearly Adrian.
Agreed. I thought the same thing. We were wrong.
We were wrong about it all. Okay. Never Lie relies on Trisha and Ethan being snowed in by the blizzard. Can you think of any other situations that could have isolated them in a similar way? How much did the snowstorm and the cold add to the atmosphere for when you were reading?
Okay. So yes, the story relies on them being isolated. That way Trisha could have enough time to find the body. I felt that was like super misleading though, because I just thought that the blizzard was like a coincidence. Like, oh my God, they were stuck. I had no idea that Trisha planned the whole thing. She wanted to be stuck. I don't really know what else could have isolated them besides the weather. So I think that Trisha was smart to plan this whole event around a blizzard happening. That way she knew she would be stuck.
So you think she knew that the blizzard was going to happen
I
the whole
guess
time,
so.
but played dumb? Like,
Played
oh my
dumb.
gosh, a blizzard.
Oh my God, I was stuck here. Like, I think she knew. It made the story though definitely seem scary. Like, you know, cabin in the woods, blizzard. Like, it did give a creepy tone and like mood.
Almost claustrophobic.
Yeah,
like you're stuck.
Yes.
You're not going anywhere.
And it was a little creepy because you were made to believe that like Ethan couldn't be somebody that we can't trust.
Yes.
So I was like, is he gonna kill her in this scary environment? So you didn't trust Ethan most of the story.
No, and at the beginning, I really was like, I want to shake Trisha. Like, we've all been a Trisha before, not looking at the red flags that our friends see.
Right, but she was the red flag.
Yeah, meanwhile, no, we're not.
Yeah.
Any of these people in this book.
Exactly.
At least I hope not.
Yeah, agree. Yep.
Okay. Let's see. The use of patient session tapes as a found footage element. Did knowing these tape recordings of patient sessions add a different dimension to the novel, to say finding a diary? Did you spot any clues in the choice of tapes that Trisha chose to listen to?
Okay.
Thoughts?
My overall thought is no. I didn't spot clues. That's why I was shook when I found the twist.
Me too.
I don't know if me not spotting the clues, I wasn't paying close enough attention. I'd have to reread to see if there was any clues that I missed. But I didn't.
I didn't either.
Know that PL was Patricia.
No, not even a little.
No, I did feel a little tricked because Trisha, as a narrator, even at first she told us that she was looking for a book to read when she came across all the cassettes. Now looking back, I think she might have actually just been looking for the dead body when she came across all the cassettes.
Yeah.
So like it was almost like she lied to the reader.
I know.
Strange.
It was almost like it was such a good book, but we didn't get a chance to pick up on anything.
Exactly. And that's my final takeaway, which I'll get way more into.
Oh, okay.
So I did feel like I didn't know any clues. Like, it just seemed like she was listening to the tapes out of curiosity, not to kind of cover her own ass, which
exactly.
It was to cover her own ass in the end. Like, she wanted to throw away the tapes that might have incriminated her. I thought the whole time she was listening because she was curious, which, like, relatable. I would have done the same thing. I would have wanted to listen as well.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
See, and for me, I was like, oh, well, listening to those patient tapes adds like a level of vulnerability.
Yes.
Like, I loved that. And it made it easier to reveal different character traits.
Yeah.
Because it also had Adrian's dialogue too.
Yes.
So we had that extra level, not just the patient's point of view.
Yeah.
Looking back though, it's interesting she chose to listen to her own tapes. Like, she didn't know what happened in real time.
It was weird. It's like she was, and the way she portrayed it was that she was just interested in her own tapes. Yeah.
Right.
But we didn't know it was her own tapes at the time.
Yeah. And it, you know, all of it was just to get rid of any evidence that tied her
to the
to
murder.
Adrian and Edward.
Yeah.
So, very interesting. There's a strong misdirection pointing Ethan to being EJ, which I think we all thought
We
EJ.
all thought that.
I think we all thought Ethan was EJ. Did you have any other suspicions, right or wrong, as to the identities of the other patients on the tapes?
Literally no. I don't know why.
None.
But I just did not catch on to what this book like was going to present at the end. I said I had not any clues to who the other patients were. However, I did think that the GW, the paranoid schizophrenic
Yes.
lady, I was like, there's probably something to her. Like I could have saw her I don't know, murdering Adrian because she was so paranoid
Oh,
and
that's such a good
schizophrenic. I was
take.
like, maybe it's gonna be her all along.
Yeah.
Because the book did like present her as thinking this GW lady was like thought everybody was out to get her. So I was like, maybe she thinks that Adrian was out to get her. So she killed Adrian. So I thought she might have something to do with it, but for the most part, no. I did
No.
not have an inclination.
I know I was wrong about everything.
Yes.
I was so into the characters in the tapes
Yeah.
that I forgot to
Mhm.
even try to link them with the characters that were in the house.
Right. Or
Except
linked
for
into the
Ethan being-
overall plot.
Yes, except for Ethan and EJ.
Yeah.
So I was like,
Just because they have the
"Wh-
same letter.
right. So I was like,
initial.
what the fuck? These are the same people. I'm certain we all know everyone thought Ethan was EJ.
Right.
But I had a feeling Freida had to set it up a certain way for
Mhm.
people to buy into the major plot twists.
Yeah.
But I
True.
had no clue.
That it was a narrator
Okay.
the whole time.
Yes.
Me either.
Okay, let's see. Next, DBQ. Early on, it seems to be setting up a classic, isolated, creepy house mystery. Were you surprised by the development into a darker history of a murder thriller?
Okay. I wasn't necessarily surprised because I felt like there had to be more than just like a creepy house. Like
Agreed.
I was like, there's got to be more. It's not just like a ghost story.
Right.
I thought that like Adrian might have been alive the whole time and hiding in the house. So I wasn't necessarily surprised. Like we said a million times, I just didn't expect it to be what it was.
Right. Same. I know. I was not really.
Yeah.
I knew there was going to be more to the story than when readers were initially introduced to.
Anything too obvious, I was like, it's probably
Yeah.
not it.
I just didn't know, and that's what kind of bothered me.
Yeah.
Like what was coming.
Exactly.
But I thought I did. Let's see. Were you surprised when it was revealed that Adrian was dead and had been killed years earlier?
So I was surprised when she was dead because I thought she might have been alive, like I said, and still hiding in the house. I was like,
I think
my
that's what I
overall
wanted.
theory was that she was alive.
Me too.
Yeah.
That's so interesting
Mm-hmm.
because my mom didn't have that
No,
hot take. No.
she didn't think she was alive ever. Wow.
But I was surprised because I thought for sure, like you said, that Adrian was going to be alive in the house seeking revenge on Ethan, whom I thought was EJ.
Right. She
I-
wanted to like scare him, freak him out.
100%.
But we were wrong.
I thought it was going to be the revenge that maybe sparked her next book, like a game of cat and mouse.
Ooh, yeah, that would have been cool.
So I thought she like set this up to taunt Ethan and Trisha throughout the novel until she got her revenge.
Yeah.
And I was so fucking wrong.
Wrong. Never
was
been more wrong in my life, honestly.
Never. Okay, let's see. Our last DBQ.
Okay.
Trisha has a very strong ulterior motive, revealed with one of the biggest twists. How did you feel having your perception of the main character twisted from her presenting herself as a nervous little wife to finding out she's a multiple killer? Was there anything in Trisha's character or behavior early on that made you suspect her true motives? Did you like Trisha in the beginning? And did you still like her as a character once the truth was uncovered?
Let me clear my throat.
Let it rip,
Because
bitch.
this is my overall takeaway. This is where I have a problem with the book.
Okay.
I really like the book. Like
me too.
And this goes for just Freida McFadden as an author.
Yes.
I like her books. The Housemaid was an awesome book. Like I really enjoyed The Housemaid.
That's a good one.
It is a good one because I think she's really great at writing a fast-paced page turner novel. You
Boom,
want to
boom,
know what
boom.
happens. Exactly.
Yes.
You want to know what happens. You're invested. I found myself wanting to pick up the book.
Yes.
And that's how I know it's a good book. So by no means do I think this was a bad book.
No.
I enjoyed my time with it. I'd read a million more Freida McFadden books.
Definitely.
This is my problem though with this specific book in general. And books that have the same kind of concept overall is an unreliable narrator.
Okay, tell
And
me
here's
more.
why. I have a problem with unreliable narrators. And this is only when I don't personally feel like there's not a lot of clues to lead the reader to believe that the narrator can't be trusted.
100% you nailed it. An
Yes.
unreliable narrator.
Yes, and
That's what it is.
it's what it is. And I like an unreliable narrator when the reader, as in you and I, have a chance to figure it out. Like if there's just little sprinkles
Like
of doubt.
a crumb of something.
Exactly. A little crumb of like, maybe I can't trust what this narrator is telling me.
Yes, we were given false crumbs.
False crumbs. Because I felt like throughout this book, like there was nothing really, and we might have missed it.
Yeah, definitely could have
Maybe.
missed it.
But I do feel like throughout the book, like there was nothing really that made me think that I can't trust Patricia.
Yeah.
So when the plot twist came, I felt like I was just kind of lied to throughout the book. Like
Yes.
so here's an example of a good unreliable narrator story, and I'm gonna take it way back
Take it
to
back,
Edgar
sis.
Allan Poe.
Oh, shit.
Way back. And this is why, and I only really noticed because I actually had to teach Edgar Allan Poe to 8th graders a couple years ago for the story The Telltale Heart.
So good.
So good. And The Telltale Heart is all about teaching readers, young readers, about an unreliable narrator and how to spot the clues that you
Yes.
cannot really trust what this person or this author is saying.
Yeah.
Because the Telltale Heart, it's very obvious right off the bat that the story is from the perspective of like a mentally deranged person. He might not be all there. And you know that right away because of like the words that he says, the tone that he gives, the stories and anecdotes. You're like, he's probably not well, so I'm not maybe going to trust everything he says.
Correct.
So you can enjoy the story while also knowing that like it might not be what it is. However, I felt like this book, I felt like there was nothing about Patricia, the narrator, that made me believe she couldn't be trusted.
Right.
I believed what she said.
God, that's such a good point.
And so it only annoyed me in the end when like I was shook by the fact that she was behind, you know, the whole thing the whole time, because I was like, well, I would have liked to like maybe consider it if there was like
Yes.
little clues.
Correct. I agree with that.
I felt like this about the book. I think you read this book too, The Perfect Marriage. Do you
Yes.
remember that one?
Yes.
It was like her husband was having an affair in The Perfect Marriage, and
At the
she
lake
was
house?
an
At the-
attorney.
Yes. At the
Yes.
lake house.
Yes, so the narrator was an attorney, and she was on her husband's case. Like she decided to take on her husband's case and defend
Yes.
him.
Yeah.
So she's narrating the story as if she's trying to put together the pieces of what happened, who
Oh my
killed her
God,
husband's
yes.
mistress, because her husband was accused of murdering the
Yes.
mistress. So she's like trying to put together the pieces. Well, then all of a sudden, towards like the very end of
The-
the book,
Yeah.
the last chapter, you
Come to
find
find out-
she killed the mistress. So you're like, the whole time she's talking
God.
about trying to figure it out. And she's like, haha, just kidding. I did it.
I know. It felt like, literally, it felt like at the end of that book, the author was like, let me push all of the plot twists into one
Into
chapter.
one. Yes. Let me
I
squish it
loved
all
the book
together.
until the end. I was like, no, that's too much.
That's too much. And that's not fair
It's
because
not believable to
it's-
me.
Exactly. So it's like the whole time I was meant to believe one thing, and all of a sudden you want me to believe the other thing.
Yes.
So that's how I feel about unreliable narrators. It does not take away how much I enjoyed the book because
I'm
I
so
did.
glad you brought that up.
Okay, good. So because that's my final thought. Like I genuinely enjoyed the book. However, at the end I was like, come on, I would have liked to be able to have a chance to guess the ending.
Yeah. And see, for me, I feel like I like the development of Trisha.
Mm-hmm.
I think at the beginning of the book, I was like, wake up, sister.
Mhm.
See these red flags. He fucking sucks.
Right.
But there was just so much in the book to make readers believe that Ethan was EJ.
Right.
Than there was for Trisha to be like the big killer.
Right.
Like we had nothing to
No.
lead us in that direction. You know, for example, Ethan with his temper.
Right.
There were so many references to his temper.
like all of a sudden he's angry for no reason, and she's like, "Oh my god, I've never seen this side to my husband before."
Right. And then like the wine references, like
Yes.
Edward. Clearly that was for us to be like, same person.
Right. But it
But
wasn't.
whatever, it wasn't.
Right.
So I wasn't particularly attached to any of these characters.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I found Patricia more interesting in the end,
Mhm.
but I didn't like love her at the beginning or love
Yeah.
her at the end.
There was
She was
no one
just
that I felt like super attached to or like
Patricia.
rooted for.
no. And there was good character development, but I wasn't like, I'm not going to think about those particular characters
Yeah,
like I do other books.
exactly.
So that was our DBQs.
Love it. Final takeaways. That's what it was. Like
Yeah.
I felt like the unreliable narrator thing threw me off.
Yes.
However, I did get a like moral of the story for my final takeaway.
All right.
Okay, so this is what I got. Now I changed my moral of the story. I was
Okay.
like literally driving home today and I was thinking about this book and I was like, you know what? This book did kind of make me think about one thing. And this is what it was. The truth shall set you free.
Bam, bitch.
Period. And this is why-
Period, poo.
Period, poo. And this is why. If Adrian would have just picked her battle with EJ and said, you know what, it's not worth it, she might still be alive. So she did this whole plot that ultimately got her killed just to cover up the video of her slashing someone's tires.
Which, like, let them show the video.
Exactly.
And turn it and twist it and be like, I'm human. Yeah, I messed up.
It almost would make her more human, like you
Relatable,
said,
yes.
human. Right. But instead, she was like, she couldn't let it go.
Right.
Not only did she not let it go, but once she ended up literally murdering EJ because of it.
Yes.
Which I'm not saying EJ was a great person, but
No,
did he deserve
but-
to die? No.
No.
Right. So not only did she murder EJ, but she also lied to Luke and told Luke that she handled it, quote unquote, by
Yes.
paying him off. But that wasn't the truth. She handled it by murdering him, and her lie to Luke ultimately got him killed as well.
Yep.
Because he stood up for her, like he decided to
Mhm.
stand by her side. He ended up dead. So the truth shall set you free.
That's such a
Ultimately-
good one.
Yeah, so like we've all been there where it's like
Yep.
one little white lie turns into another lie, and then it's
Snowballs.
this web of just lie,
Yes.
lie, and it turns catastrophic,
Yeah.
and you can't come back from it. So you have to just take a step back sometimes
Yes.
and go like, let me just handle the mistakes that I made, take accountability, and we won't all end up dead in the ground.
Right.
But sometimes that's what happens when you just let lie after lie after lie
Build
after lie
up.
build up, and then everyone ends up murdered.
Everyone's murdered.
Yeah.
I know. I think my biggest takeaway was you just never truly know people.
True. Yeah.
And for me, it was like, yes, there were a lot of characters with a lot of baggage,
Mm-hmm.
but Adrian was also such a villain.
Such a villain.
Like, she was kind of like stemming off into all the other characters.
Yeah, she kind of met her match
She did.
with Luke and
100%. And you know, our friend Stacy
Mhm.
mentioned that it would have been really nice if we had like a chapter point of view from Luke.
oh my god,
Kind of tying up that
I
loose
never even-
end.
yeah, I never thought about that. That would have been so good.
It would have been.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
for sure.
What did Amanda think? Our friend Amanda, she had some takeaways as well.
Yes. Let me pull it up real quick. I know her biggest thing was like, she couldn't get over that Adrian went to all these lengths
Exactly.
over like being late
It
for
wasn't
work.
that serious.
No, sis,
That's how I
it really
felt
wasn't.
about the video with her slashing someone's tires. Like, it was not that serious to have to murder people to get rid of the evidence. Like, yeah, the video would not have looked that great for her. but
Yes.
It wasn't going to ruin her the way that she thought it was.
Okay, so I pulled up Amanda's response.
Okay.
She was saying, were we holding out hope that Adrian wasn't actually dead like she was?
Right. I was.
100%.
Yeah.
I thought she was alive.
Yeah.
Even though she's just as twisted as the others for killing someone over a video of her slashing a tire,
Exactly.
which we kind of touched on. So
Yeah.
Amanda kind of felt that same way. She was still hoping she was actually still alive.
Mhm.
It's just crazy.
Yeah. The only person I think that deserves justice, #justice for Luke.
And Amanda agreed with that. Dr.
Yeah.
Hale's boyfriend was the
Yeah.
only
Like
Normal
reasonable, logical
person.
person.
yes. And then our friend Stacy said, why didn't Luke bring up EJ blackmailing the doctor when he was being investigated?
Mhm. I never
Which is
even thought
true.
about that. Yeah.
But I think that Luke didn't want to do that because EJ had
So much on
him too.
Right.
and
Breaking
he
into
was-
his house.
He was so nervous about not ever getting another
Yeah.
job because remember he had
Yeah.
some baggage already with that.
And when you're dealing with someone as unhinged as EJ, like it is scary.
Yeah.
So y'all, that was Never Lie.
Another nice, good
Yeah.
book. I
Quick
think we're 2
page
for
turner.
2 real quick.
I think so too.
We do have our June books.
Yes, let's talk about the June books.
Okay. So our next book is The Butcher and the Wren, which we
Yes.
actually have up here somewhere.
Yep.
If you're watching the video.
By Elena Urquhart?
Yes,
I think that's
Elena
how you say her
Urquhart.
last name.
Yes. So she is the co-host of Morbid.
Love that podcast.
If you haven't listened to that podcast,
So good.
that's a good one.
Yes.
So this is her thrilling debut novel told from the dueling perspective of a notorious serial killer and the medical examiner following a trail of victim leads. So the setting is in New Orleans, which I think is going to add an extra level of interest for us
Yes.
and those of you reading along with us.
Yeah. I love to hear other people's perspectives of New Orleans and like
Me
compare.
too. So I'm
Yeah.
excited for that book. I'm
Me too.
not sure if that one's on Kindle.
Oh, I don't know.
So
Okay.
we did get a few hard copies of
Yeah.
that one because
Mhm.
I don't think it's on Kindle.
It is at like bookstores, though. Local
Yes.
bookstores, Barnes and Noble. You can find it.
It's definitely a Barnes and Noble.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's our next read. And then our second book for June is Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter.
This one is like well renowned, well talked about.
Super excited for this one.
Yeah.
So this book is full of unforgettable twists, the disappearance of a teenage girl, and the murder of a middle-aged man, almost a quarter century apart.
Yeah. I think this book also touched on necrophilia. So it's going to get dark.
Right. So it's almost like what connects these two incidents.
Yes. Yes.
The surviving sisters look to the past to find the truth, unearthing the secrets that destroyed their family all those years ago.
Sounds so good.
So if you want to rack up on the next 2 books, we are doing The Butcher and the Wren and Pretty Girls. That's our June books.
Love it. All right, y'all.
Super exciting.
That was Never Lie by Freida McFadden. Love you, Miss Freida.
Yes, love you, Miss Frida. That was episode 2.
Y'all, that was awesome. Thank y'all so much for listening. Had
Yes,
so much
thank
fun
you.
doing this. So much fun. Don't forget to follow, subscribe, so we can keep doing this. We can interact with y'all. We want to know y'all's book suggestions. We want to know y'all's thoughts.
Yes.
So on Instagram, it's at Open Books Podcast. And then on TikTok, it's at The Open Books Podcast. So you have to add the on TikTok.
Yes.
But we hope y'all enjoyed it. We're so excited to do this. It's so much fun.
Yes.
Love y'all.
Bye.